Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, the government shutdown is now in its 9th day, but it's not just a lack of funding making headlines. Some federal websites are pointing fingers, raising legal questions. Plus, Hamas and Israel have agreed to phase 1 of a peace deal. We'll have the latest on this huge development. And one Upper Peninsula project was left out of the state budget. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP. This is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Kelly, good evening. It is another beautiful day out there today. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Kevin, it is a beautiful day, and we are setting up for a really nice weekend, and things have really settled down. We don't quite have those frost advisories on the way, but we do have clear skies at the moment across the Upper Peninsula. Temperatures are in the upper 50s and lower 60s, especially out to the western half, so a very comfortable night, and that will continue for most of the overnight, but we will have some increase in cloud cover and a few showers to lead us into the weekend, but I'll have more details on that and the weekend itself in just a few minutes.
Kelly, thank you very much. We are now in day 9 of the government shutdown. It's become a tense partisan messaging showdown with some federal departments and agencies are directly blaming the Democrats for the shutdown. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp joins us live. Rachel, good evening.
Good evening, Kevin. So it's not unusual for Republicans and Democrats to point the finger at each other, especially when it comes to this shutdown. But experts say what's unusual is some of the messaging being displayed on these department websites. They say that it could potentially violate some certain laws. If you were to open the Department of Housing and Urban Development's webpage, a bright red banner would read in part, "The radical left in Congress shut down the government." A similar banner posted on the State Department also reads, quote, "Due to the Democrat-led shutdown, website updates will be limited until full operations resume." A handful of other U.S. departments have similar messaging on their sites. Experts say departments and agencies notifying the public about the shutdown is normal, but some say the administration's use of federal agencies to deliver that message blaming Democrats raises ethical and legal concerns. Some question if it violates the Anti-Lobbying Act, which prohibits the use of appropriated government funds for lobbying activities designed to support or defeat legislation pending before Congress. Others say it could violate the Hatch Act, which limits certain political activities of federal employees.
The Hatch Act was developed in the 1930s as a way to deal with government employees using their position either through favors or through intimidation to influence elections. Some people believe that this could be a violation of the Hatch Act, but it's really unclear because the Hatch Act is really geared towards electioneering, that is electoral campaigns, and specific elections. So nobody specifically is named in this. And since this has more to do with advocacy than electoral campaigns, I'm not sure they have much of a ground to stand on this one.
When we reached out to the White House for comment on this, specifically regarding the Hatch Act, we initially received an automatic reply that press inquiries might have some delays due to the staff shortages resulting from the Democrat shutdown. Soon after, the White House responded by saying in part, quote, "It's an objective fact that Democrats are responsible for the government shutdown. The Trump administration is simply sharing the truth with the American people." And Kevin, the White House also provided us a list of examples from former President Joe Biden's administration when they were the ones that pointed the finger at Republicans, blaming them for certain things. Reporting live for WZMQ 19 News, I'm Rachel Knapp. Kevin, back to you.
Rachel, thank you very much. Wednesday evening, President Trump announced Israel and Hamas have agreed to move forward with a U.S.-led peace plan for the region. While meeting in Egypt this week, negotiators from both parties signed off on phase 1 of the president's 20-point peace proposal. Our other D.C. correspondent, Brendan Scanlon, has a reaction to the agreement, which is being applauded by both parties in Congress and around the world. Brendan, good evening to you, sir.
Hey there, Kevin. Good evening to you. Well, yeah, even though phase 1 has been agreed to, there is still some uncertainty. There's, still questions over exactly when and whether lasting peace can actually be achieved in the region. That being said, however, the agreement yesterday is drawing praise from across the globe and here in Congress, many saying it's the first most significant step toward peace now just over 2 years after the war broke out.
Last night we reached a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East, something that people said was never going to be done.
The first phase of what could be a historic path to peace in the Middle East has been agreed to by Hamas and Israel. Under this initial phase, Israel will withdraw troops to an agreed-upon line, and all hostages held in Gaza will be released, only 20 of whom are expected to still be living.
We secured the release of all of the remaining hostages, and they should be released on Monday or Tuesday.
President Trump calling it the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. The news bringing joy to civilians in Gaza and Israel. On Capitol Hill, both parties calling the agreement a breakthrough.
Very, very positive step in the right direction.
We are on the precipice of a monumental and historic achievement.
I think it's very significant because in order to have a deal happen, you have to bring all the interested parties to the table. And we haven't had all the interested parties to the table in a very long time.
I think it's a remarkable moment. None of this would have happened, and I really believe this, without the leadership of President Trump.
However, the work is far from over. Certain details and conditions still need to be worked out.
Now, we've still got some work to do. There's lots to get done before we have true peace in the Middle East.
As a result of the agreement, the United Nations has prepared a large-scale 60-day aid plan for Gaza with massive quantities of food, medicine, and other humanitarian supplies ready to be moved. And Kevin, again, we are still very, very early in this process. It's only stage one out of several. Now, there are still sticking points that remain between some of the parties involved, including disarming Hamas, as well as what the immediate and long-term future looks like for governing in Gaza. Now, the peace proposal also includes many different conditions and a lot of details about sort of revitalizing Gaza, but a lot of those conditions are dependent upon what happens in some of these first earlier phases. So we're going to have to watch and see what happens here. But again, so many across the globe keeping their fingers crossed that lasting peace can be achieved there in Gaza. Reporting live on Capitol Hill for WZMQ 19 News, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Kevin, back to you.
Brendan, thank you very much. Michigan lawmakers have finalized the state's new $81 billion budget, and one controversial Upper Peninsula project didn't make the cut. The final deal left out a proposed $50 million grant for Wakefield Township infrastructure upgrades tied to the Copperwood mine near the Porcupine Mountains. Supporters say the investment would have created jobs and modernized local roads, but environmental groups argue it would have primarily benefited a foreign mining company.
The decision to leave the funding out of the budget to some looks like a lack of investment in our communities, but truly it is a conscious decision to put standards on the investments in our communities that we know, to know what we want to support us.
We'll have more reactions tonight at 11:10 Central. Your first warning weather forecast with Kelly Rowland is after the break. She'll let us know how our Friday night football temperatures are looking so far. We'll be right back.
Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
Welcome back. Thanks for being here on this Thursday. We're looking at temperatures around the upper 50s for Marquette. We have lower 60s out towards the western half of the Upper Peninsula. That's very comfortable for this time of the year. We have those southern winds giving us some moisture, some warmer temperatures, but it is breezy, especially for us into Marquette, about 18-mile-per-hour winds at this moment. 60 degrees, though, for that high, so that's still above average just by 5 degrees. It was not a record-breaking day, but things were pretty calm for us. That was your alerts page showing us that there's no frost advisories or freeze warnings, and this is the chance of frost at the time where there probably would be an indication of some frost if we had those cool enough temperatures, but we don't quite have that for tonight, so things are going to be very comfortable even into the overnight hours. We're looking at Doppler max, which also doesn't look like much. It's not broken, it's just that clear out right now, and we're going to keep it that way for most of this evening and into the overnight, but we could see some showers and isolated thunderstorm in the overnight. It won't quite impact, I think, those morning commutes and the morning plans for tomorrow if you're getting your weekend started early. And this is also a plus too. We've started to see a little bit faster of a pace of this system moving through, because yesterday a lot of the models were putting some rainfall on the way for Friday evening, where a lot of the high school football games were going to be happening. So on the plus side, it looks like that has been sped up a little bit, so things might be actually on the mostly dry side. I'll probably take the rain out of these icons for the 11 o'clock tonight. But Menominee, Escanaba, and Newberry still looking great temperature-wise. It might be a little cloudy and there might be a raindrop. I can't completely rule it out. It'll definitely be breezy with the system moving through, but at least there have been some improvements on the way for your Friday night light football games. And the weekend ahead, a holiday weekend at that, clearing skies for Saturday. Sunday still looking nice and sunny. We might have a few drops on the holiday itself, Columbus Day, or is just People's Day. Temperatures, though, I keep saying comfortable, but seasonal, whatever you want to call it. It's truly going to be a nice fall weekend, maybe even a little bit warmer too once we get into the second half of it. But for tonight, we might see some of those showers pushing on through sort of into that overnight time of about 1, 2, maybe 3 in the morning. It'll definitely be cloudy, but at least the good thing is we don't have those frost advisories or freeze warnings into play. So we'll keep that out of the forecast just for tomorrow. It'll take us a little bit to get the rain out of here, so it might be just a bit cloudy for tomorrow, but I think the Friday night light games are still looking good. Now the weekend itself, we know that that looks pretty good, upper 50s, lower 60s. That's above average for us on the holiday itself, maybe a few isolated showers, but really once we get into next week, that's when we should clear most of the rain out of here. Don't think we'll necessarily settle into another stretch of rainless days, but temperatures will be cooler into the lower 50s with mostly cloudy skies and some clearing later on in the week.
Kelly, thank you very much, and don't go away. Insights is coming up after the break.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. Coming up later this month, a special film festival being held in the Keweenaw. Joining us is social media manager with Visit Keweenaw, Amanda Makala. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, so the Wolf's Head Film Festival, tell us all about it.
Sure. So the Wolf's Head Film Festival is a little spooky season, indie-focused and horror-focused event at the Orpheum Theater in Hancock. And it's really highlighting Great Lakes filmmakers, and we even have some submissions from around the world. We've got a new this year documentary that's been kind of blazing up the indie documentary film space, Stolen Kingdom, and then we're gonna screen Blair Witch Project also. So it's kind of a great way to celebrate the Halloween season here in the Keweenaw. Right before Halloween, there's also a VIP experience tied in with the Quincy Mine, and so there's a little fun twist there for movie lovers. So I don't want to spill too much about that one, but
Sure, no spoilers. All right, Amanda, as far as how scary or spooky it is this something for everyone to enjoy, you think?
well, I would say that depends on your scare factor. So I've been calling this just the right amount of scary. Some of these films are intended for an adult audience. They're nothing overly scary. I would say the scariest one that we have is the Blair Witch Project, and many of us cut our teeth on that movie as kids, and we all know it's kind of haunted us ever since. So I would say, being that this is at the Orpheum Theater, I would say that this is like teens, adult supervision, and adults focused. Yeah.
Yeah, the Blair Witch Project definitely gave me some scares back in the day. In fact, probably today too, to be honest. Amanda, tell us more about the filmmakers themselves.
Sure. So you're going to see a wide array of filmmakers, and each day focuses on a block of shorts from indie filmmakers, and many of them are from downstate Michigan. They're from Wisconsin. We have some people who have submitted from all over the country, to be honest, and we even have one that will be featured from Australian filmmakers. So our headlining documentary, Stolen Kingdom, that's by a filmmaker from Florida, but we're also screening a teaser from an upcoming horror movie that was actually filmed in part at the Open Skies Project up at the old decommissioned Calumet Air Force Station. So they're going to be on site, the filmmakers, and they're going to be there to reveal the teaser and answer any questions about what their experience was like filming in the Keweenaw.
All right, good stuff. And I think all I have left for you, Amanda, is we should probably let everyone know where and when it is.
Absolutely. So the Wolf's Head Film Festival is October 24th and 25th, held at the Orpheum Theater in Hancock, Michigan. And it starts, doors open at 5 o'clock, so it's a perfect thing. Come in after work, get your tickets now, save your seat, and you can do that at wolfsheadfilm.com.
Good stuff. All right, Amanda, sounds like a great time. Hoping you have quite the turnout when it comes up. That's all I have for you, Amanda. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Mike Ludlam has your look at sports when we come back. He'll give us an update as the Tigers and the Brewers continue their efforts in the playoffs. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
In tonight's Eye on America, we head to Virginia, where scientists are turning to human medical devices to save endangered species.
That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Well, it's a mic check for me. 26-25 is my out cue, according to Mr. Hodge, and I find that to be acceptable. Good evening, everyone. The NMU men's soccer team has its biggest conference match of the season tomorrow at home. The Wildcats will face defending GLIAC champion and 17th ranked Saginaw Valley State. The Cardinals are in first place of the conference this year. NMU head coach Alex Fadovich knows his team needs to score more goals. He adds his team is treating this like any other contest.
They're a good team. They're perennial. We know that. The guys know that. So it's not about them. It's about us and what we do. And if the guys prepare the way they prepared for St. Cloud and do an even better job of their preparation, the recovery, and the things we put into that game, if they do the same thing this week, then they should have a shot. So it's up to them. I've told you guys all year. I'm not doing anything for them to prepare other than what I always do. It's up to them to prepare.
The game begins at 1 o'clock at the NMU soccer field. The Wildcats men host Davenport Sunday at noon. By the way, Michigan Tech and NMU women's soccer teams meet Sunday in Marquette at 3 o'clock. Boys High School District Soccer from yesterday. Kingsford easily defeated Kalkaska 7-0 in Division III, and in D4 it was Big Bay to knock over Mackinac Island 3-0. GLIAC volleyball, the NMU and Michigan Tech match is underway at the SDC gym, and the Huskies have a 14-11 lead over the Wildcats in the first set. Bay College last night defeated Mount Calm Community College 3-1. Addie Morton of Ishpeming, Maya Hauser of Stevenson, and Ava Mackey of Marquette all had 10 kills apiece. The high school volleyball poll for this week has Kingsford a unanimous number 1. Number 2, Calumet visits Gwynn tonight. Negaunee is 3rd, Houghton 4th, and Manistee 5th. In the Division 4 ranks, Forest Park again a unanimous number 1. Hancock is 2nd, followed by Ishpeming, Lakeland, and Hubble, and Munising, Ewan, Trout Creek, and Wakefield Marinisco all tied for 5th place. The Dish program guide for this Sunday's NFL schedule on WZMQ 19 is wrong. We will have the Cincinnati-Green Bay football game this Sunday at 4:25 Eastern, 3:25 Central Time. Yes, the Packers will be on WZMQ 19 this Sunday. Turning to baseball, the Detroit Tigers trying to stay alive in their American League Divisional Series with Cleveland, and things looking pretty good in the 5th inning. Javier Baez a base hit. Jahmai Jones scores to tie the game at 3. Then in the 6th, bang! Riley Green launches this one about 451 feet into the bleachers. A solo shot, Tigers up 4-3. Then it is Javier Baez saying, oh, this is my first home run in 8 seasons when it comes to the postseason. The 2-run shot made it 7-3. Tigers not done with the long ball in the bottom of the 7th. Gleyber Torres down the right field line. That's good for 1. Tigers go on to win 9-3 to even the series at 2 games apiece. Game 5 is tomorrow night in Seattle. And we'll catch you up with the Brewers and the Cubs. The Brewers had a 2-0 lead going into Game 3 yesterday. Michael Busch with a leadoff home run for the Cubs, and that would knot the score at 1. Still in the bottom of the 1st, bases loaded 2-0 for PCA, better known as Pete Crow Armstrong. That one's good for a base hit. That brings in 2 runs, and the Cubs are up 3-1. One more bottom of the 1st, because that's where the Cubs did most of their scoring. Nick Mears throws a wild pitch with Dansby Swanson at the plate. Ian Happ scored from 3rd, so it was 4-1 Cubs at that point. Now, in the top of the 7th, Brewers Down 2 runs, Jake Bowers with a solo home run that cut the lead down to 1, but Milwaukee could not get any closer. The Cubs hang on to win this one 4-3. Brewers still lead the series 2-1. Game 4 is tonight at Wrigley Field at 9:08 Eastern Time, and we will be right back.
And a final look at your forecast. Any cloud cover that we did have for this evening is actually clearing out for the most part. Things are looking really nice on our radar. We are calm, cool, and collected for tonight. Not too cool, though. We don't have frost advisories or freeze warnings. We remain comfortable as some increasing cloud cover for tonight. We're getting ready for some scattered showers for tomorrow. But the good part is there does look to be some improvements in terms of those Friday night lights games. Weekend looking beautiful overall, and I'll have an update on your forecast later on tonight.
Kelly, thanks again. And finally tonight, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile has arrived in the UP. For the first time since 2019, the Wienermobile is making various stops in Marquette County this weekend. This is one of the only 6 active Wienermobiles in the country, each driven by 2 individuals dedicated to sharing joy, tradition, and Wiener whistles. As a familiar sight across so many generations, the crowds that gather for their souvenirs and pictures come in all ages and some from out of state.
Aurora, Wisconsin, yep, about 70 miles away. We had to see the Wienermobile. Haven't seen it in 20 years, and I just had an inclination, let's go look. Yeah. This is very nice to see it now when you're 72 and you've seen it when you're 45.
The Wienermobile will be at Marquette's Super One tomorrow from noon until 5. That's it for now, everyone. We'll see you later tonight.